I honestly did not think today was going to be one of those days where we upload 2 videos, but the Pittsburgh Pirates, I'm not wearing this hat to support the team or the organization. I am wearing this Pirates hat to show some support to the fan base who, for whatever reason, still has faith in their club to produce a winning team in the next few seasons, because they just demoted ONeil Cruz, who we have talked about in length over the last 2 weeks because of how well he has done in spring training. They just sent him down to the minors. Now, this is a reminder. The Pirates, this is the same team that is going to arbitration over $600,000 with their superstar. Let me just reiterate that. Not a star player, a superstar talent in Bryan Reynolds. Bryan Reynolds wants $4.9 million, and he deserves it after being a top 30 player in baseball over the last 3 seasons. The Pirates want to give him $4.3 million. So obviously, they really need that $600,000 to support the dynasty that they have in place with Kevin Newman as their new starting shortstop for the 2022 season, now that ONeil Cruz has been demoted. Now, that is nothing against Kevin Newman. I think that he's a solid player, but he is not better than ONeil Cruz. Now, I first became suspicious that perhaps the new CBA wasn't actually going to deter teams from manipulating service time after a quote came out yesterday from AJ Hinch, who I actually am fond of. I really like what he has done in Detroit, but he said this: Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson, in my opinion, are ready for the big leagues, but AJ Hinch said that they still have things to do to make the team. Like what? The Tigers intern to log on to Twitter and announce publicly that they're going to make the opening day roster. I hope that's what AJ Hinch means, because on a baseball level, there is nothing left to prove. Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson should be on the opening day roster. Now, I'm going to give Hinch the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he has no control of who's going to be called up or who's going to be demoted, so this is probably just a PR move. Now, Tiger fans, they had some great memes because Tiger fans are saying, hey, we should keep them down because we have an extra year of, nah, just get that away from my face. And the same is happening right now in Pittsburgh. Some Pirates fans are saying, hey, we are going to suck. We are going to be awful in 2022. So why give up a full year of control of ONeil Cruz for what? An extra draft pick if he ends up being good? Now, we'll talk about what that means in just a second, but the reasoning as to why ONeil Cruz was demoted was because of his outfield defense. So the future star shortstop of the Pirates is being sent down to work on his defense in the outfield, and what?
Yeah, I think there is development in that. We need him to get out in the outfield a little more. I mean, he has not been out there very much. And I mean, I think we're talking about a young player that hasn't spent a bunch of time over the AA level. And there were some things that we've specifically targeted to make sure that, we continue to maximize how he's going to help us in Pittsburgh.
You know what that clip reminded me of? And the irony of today's video, almost 7 years ago to the date, on March 30th, 2015, the Chicago Cubs optioned super prospect Kris Bryant down to the minors to work on his defense. Now, let me go ahead and say why that's funny. Because Kris Bryant had a .325 batting average with a whopping 43 home runs in the minors the year before, and then backed that up by hitting over 400 with 9 home runs in spring training. The Chicago Cubs sent him down to work on his defense, and magically, 2 weeks later, when they called him up, just a few days after they were allowed to, and when I say allowed to, they called him up after his service time was manipulated. So if Kris Bryant played every single game after the time in which he was called up, the Cubs would still have the advantage, and they would gain 1 extra year of team control as opposed to Kris Bryant being a free agent 1 year sooner. So they were essentially stealing money from Kris Bryant by holding him down for 2 weeks to work on defense, and magically, the Chicago Cubs must have had the greatest trainers in the history of baseball because they fixed his defensive problems in 2 weeks. So it is just a farce. That is what the Pirates are doing right now, and I feel so bad for that fan base because they deserve a winning team. They have been so bad for so long. I'm not even, maybe I will later in the video, but I might not even mention the trade for Chris Archer. They gave away Austin Meadows and Shane Baz and Tyler Glasnow for belly button lint. So, okay, we're going to talk about that later on. But ONeil Cruz apparently is not good enough to be in the big leagues. After being in the big leagues last year, I know it was only for a handful of games, but the Pirates saw enough to call him up, and he had 2 home runs with the big league club, and then he continued the success by hitting 2 more home runs in spring training, and they were not little baby home runs, they were prodigious home runs. He had a plus 1,000 OPS in the handful of games that he played in spring. This is clear service time manipulation, and I can prove that. I don't even need any graphics. I can just look at you guys in the face and say, the Pirates suck. If ONeil Cruz was on the opening day roster, he would instantly be their second, or at worst, third best player behind Bryan Reynolds. And if you're still a big believer in Bryan Hayes is really good. Maybe ONeil Cruz is not that good just yet, but at worst, he would be their third best player, and it's not like they don't have room for him. Kevin Newman, in my humble, fuzzy opinion, is not as good as ONeil Cruz. So that, I mean, a lot of people have been saying, but Fuzzy, I thought a whole lockout just happened that was going to deter teams from manipulating service time. Isn't that the reason why we have a new CBA? Nope, there is absolutely nothing, zero language in the new CBA that forces teams to call up their top prospects. There is, however, incentives to call up your top prospects. And what I mean by that is, let's say, I've used this example before, the Royals call up Bobby Witt Jr., or let's say the Mariners call up Julio Rodriguez. If both of those guys finish in the top, I think it's in the top few for MVP, they will have draft picks, extra draft picks, because they called up their top prospect on opening day, they performed well, and then Major League Baseball is going to reward them by handing out draft picks. So there are incentives to use your top prospects, but you are not being forced to do that. And it might actually make sense. This might be smart in terms of what the Pirates are doing, but it's still scummy in my opinion. The Pirates are saying right now there's a better chance that ONeil Cruz is going to be better than any player that we can use with that draft pick given to us by Major League Baseball. Now, the saving grace for ONeil Cruz and all of Major League Baseball as a whole is for ONeil Cruz to absolutely ball out when he does eventually get called up. Now, I'm hoping the Pirates do not leave him down in the minors enough to where he does not qualify for Rookie of the Year voting, because if you don't remember, I'm hoping this happens. Even if you're a Reds fan and you're hoping that your rookie is going to be Rookie of the Year, you should be rooting for ONeil Cruz, because if ONeil Cruz finishes first or second in the Rookie of the Year voting, because of the new CBA, he will have 1 full year of service time. So let's say in a perfect world, ONeil Cruz starts off the year in the minors. He gets called up 2 weeks from now, and he puts on a show and actually performs like a Rookie of the Year and comes in first and second. Even though the Pirates tried to manipulate his service time, he will have gained 1 full year, so his contract status will be the same as if he was on the opening day roster, if that makes sense. So he's going to get a fat bonus from the new CBA because he performed well. He's still going to have his actual contract status kept status quo because it was not manipulated, because he was able to kind of Uno reverse card it and steal it back after the Pirates sent him down. So again, if you are a fan of baseball, you should be rooting for ONeil Cruz because the Pirates are doing him dirty right now. I feel so bad for all of you Pirates fans. I mean, the only good thing that you've done is traded for Bryan Reynolds. He came in the Andrew McCutchen trade, so good for you. But you're about to lose him over $600,000. So let me ask you, fans of the Fuzzy channel, who is the most embarrassing team in baseball right now? Is it the A's? And same with the Rockies. I know the Rockies asset management hasn't been that great, and even my team, the Guardians, we lose superstars left and right, but they're in talks right now with J-Ram. It just seemed like the Pirates can't do anything right ever. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you make of this rant video? I'm sorry, I hopefully made some sense. So in a quick nutshell, ONeil Cruz is being sent down to work on his outfield defense. So the future shortstop of the Pirates needs to work on his outfield defense. And yeah, that's all you need to know. The Pirates, I need water. The Pirates suck. Right now, if ONeil Cruz was on that opening day roster, he would be a top 5 player at the very least. And they're not doing that because they want an extra year of team control. It's clear as day they would rather hold down ONeil Cruz than potentially risk him being a free agent sooner. And they just understand he's a proven commodity at this point, and a future draft pick is not. And again, that draft pick would come from the CBA changes that if ONeil Cruz performs well, the Pirates would be given a draft pick, and they would rather have an extra year of Cruz. So it's simple, plain as day. I'm sorry, Pirates fans. I'm going to give you a virtual hug. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm going to go watch some baseball now.